much for being here. As I do, I'll start my briefing with public safety, and I wanted to provide you with stats, preliminary data from the New Orleans Police Department through November the 4th, comparing 2023 to 2022. We just, again, continue to see and demonstrate progress. Total crimes against persons remain down 20%, murders are down 26%, armed robbery down 35%, non-fatal shooting incidents are down 18%, non-fatal shooting victims remain down at 19%, carjackings are down 44%. We're welcoming back Crime Stoppers BUDAC program. Happy to really see that back, and it's in hopes of locating convicted sex offenders who have either failed to register or appear in court. And so this year's program will run from October the 23rd to December the 23rd. So participating agencies include NOPD, of course the U.S. Marshals, the Sheriff's Office, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, as well as LSP, and more of our coordinating agencies and partners. The 2nd and the 6th District Police districts combined efforts and resources for overtime detail deployment in collaboration with federal partners, including ATF, the FBI, DEA, and of course I just have to reiterate just the progress made through this combined and unified force, taking real action and really attacking criminal activity head on. And by conducting surveillance, proactively patrolling key problem areas throughout the city in both districts, and executing search warrants. Again, it's just yielded great results on the ground. And I wanted to just share, and I know you've heard, but I got to share it again, analytics from the NOPD division from August to now. They have made 75 felony arrests, 23 firearm arrests, 22 narcotic arrests. We've seized 39 firearms and located numerous stolen vehicles and made corresponding arrests. So again, coordinated efforts, unified approach, working with all law enforcement partners, of course, all embedded with the leadership of the New Orleans Police Department, just continues to show results on the ground and in the city of New Orleans, and with a laser eye on the 2nd and 6th district. Switching gears to the wildfire, just very appreciative to all of our partners who have been at the table and working with the New Orleans Fire Department, but of course our Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, the Sewage and Water Board New Orleans, of course the Louisiana DOTD, just a coordinated effort. They gave a great press conference, I believe, on yesterday, very detailed, was able to walk you through our responses on the ground, and of course things that we are actively doing in coordination to deal with the wildfires. The Sewage and Water Board, as you know, has been assisting response efforts to this since October the 19th, and at the request of the fire department, as well as, you know, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, and just continued support and responding to the needs that are on the ground. Agencies are just doing all that they can. I know it was also reported, but it bears again repeating, on Monday, the city transported 5 pumps from the Corps of Engineers to the fire department, in addition to 2 pumps supplied by the Sewage and Water Board. So it's 7 pumps total, and it's just impressive, just pumping out 1.4 million gallons of water every hour. So again, working diligently and in a very timely manner. And I just wanted to echo the responses that the agencies are just providing on the ground. And just again, in addition to DOTD, have activated the permanent, the signage. I know that residents have been requesting help with that. And so that deployment is just, again, we're seeing results there. The National Weather Service has provided a forecast that they indicate that fog potential will be increasing tonight across our area, across the New Orleans area. I'm told that the smoke plume will likely cross I-10 somewhere between I-510 and the Irish Bayou, and could result in sharp visibility drops over short distances. I know that our Director of Homeland Security on yesterday just really did a call to action to our drivers, just kind of slowing down and just being visible, making sure that they're taking everything in. All motorists, again, in the area should just prepare for sudden changes in visibility. And again, from the National Weather Service about what is predicted and expected over tonight and even into tomorrow, meaning from Thursday going into Friday morning as well. More information will come, but I did just want to share this as I've been given this directive this morning. And always, residents are encouraged to sign up for NOLA Ready, and they just continue to demonstrate that this is a trusted tool and resource that they continue to lean on. But we're always encouraging more of our residents to sign up for these text alerts. And you can text NOLA Ready, all one word, to 77295. I also wanted to underscore some efforts currently underway by RTA as well as a nighttime economy. And their efforts are really wanting to highlight and focus on more transportation efficiencies, if you will, for those who are working, serving in our hospitality industry and working overnight. We see that between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. Is where primarily our industry workers are having the hardest time relative to transportation options. So again, making sure that we have various modes of transportation and just trying to be very innovative in our approach is why they're doing this survey. And it's worth me just encouraging people to engage, whether you work for our industry directly or family members work directly, or you're impacted even indirectly. We're wanting to hear from you. The survey will be open for approximately 6 weeks and can be found on our website at www.nola.gov. And that's what I have right now to share. And of course, we'll go into Q&A and we'll pull out more information for you. John?
Starting with WWL, if you have a question.
Good morning, Mayor. Jeff Landry is planning to have a transition meeting today. It seems like there's no one from the administration or council on that committee. Can you talk to that, and if that's something that you would have liked to see?
Well, what I can talk to is that steps are moving in the right direction. Collaboration, the ability to bring people together, to share, right, to come up with a focus on the city of New Orleans. I appreciate that. The city of New Orleans, I think, deserves just a laser focus based on what we mean, again, to the state of Louisiana. I feel that it was a step in the right direction, and I have no reasons to believe that the administration nor the city council will not be embedded in the governor-elect's process as he gears for leading the state of Louisiana in January. So I'm very hopeful.
Is there anything that you would like him or that team to kind of focus on when it comes to New Orleans and when they're putting together a plan for the city?
Well, first of all, it's wanting to make sure that all individuals that have been identified for the city of New Orleans, that they have information from the city of New Orleans, so an overall briefing, if you will. And that's something that we have created and that we've also provided. And so again, being proactive, always being proactive. And I tell my people, listen, I've taken this direction as a community leader, leading Broadmoor. You have to make it easy for government to help you. And that's regardless in terms of what level you are on. So whether it's the local level, right, neighborhood level, city government level, we have to make it easy for government to help us. And right now, we're leaning towards the state of Louisiana. So it's about collaboration, cooperation, and that's all that will be demonstrated by the city of New Orleans.
Deputy Issue.
So just to kind of go off of that, some of the members that are on that team actually backed the recall. What were your thoughts about them being on the team for the city of New Orleans?
I think that diversity is key. And diversity is not just race, right? It's in thoughts, right? Perspectives, experience, and the like. And I think that what has been demonstrated just over time, that good things come from collaboration and having those voices at the table. I don't expect anything but good to come from it because of the season, if you will, the seasoned individuals and different perspectives and experiences and being on opposite sides. I don't think that that's a bad thing. We're trying to get to a unified approach, and in order to do that, you have to have all schools of thoughts at the table.
And then my other question, the Office of Inspector General, he just finished his investigation into smart cities. He says he's found some state and local laws were broken. I know he had sent that out to you as well. What are your thoughts about his report?
I think that those are allegations, and that's what I would have to say at this time.
Do you think that with what he has found in that report, though, shows any proof or shows anything that could have went on?
No, not to my knowledge, and simply because it's already been under investigation, also internally, directed by the New Orleans City Council, and no findings there. So again, like any investigation, you said this was from the
Office of Inspector General.
Office of Inspector
And he was
General.
actually able to look at the more documents than what the council was, because council didn't have the powers to do the computers and stuff like that, like
Okay.
the OIG does.
Well, it's his investigation, he's come out with his findings, and we will look at them and deal with them accordingly.
Thank you.
Leo with WWL.
Good morning, Mayor. Again, circling back to that super fog, really visibility at zero sometimes in New Orleans East where we were this morning. NOPD, DOTD, a lot of partners all came together really for a proactive approach to shut down that portion of the interstate from Michoud to Iris Bayou, just to really save lives, because we've seen fatalities every time super fog is in the conversation. So moving forward, you mentioned there are some conditions favorable to have this increased or decreased visibility tonight with the super fog and into the remainder of the week. Do you foresee any other that increased partnership with NOPD and DOTD to shut down interstates if needed?
Well, what I will say is that all parties are focused on this. It is a priority, and life safety is number one. So if conditions render themselves to be very dangerous in terms of loss of life, make no mistake about it, the officials will make the right decision. So we will continue to, again, to be make this a priority as it is and to lean in. And if changes need to be made, we will make them swiftly. Absolutely.
And looking forward to the future, we know that wildfire, folks actively working on that water's still pumping into that area. This has been going on for weeks. We don't really have a clear picture when that fire will be out. Do you have any idea of any long-term plans to maybe make sure that fog and that smoke, when it does come to the area, folks are alerted to it? Some other cities that kind of deal with this same thing, they have more signage, police officers kind of stationed regularly during those areas. Do you foresee that in the future?
I think that, yes, I do. And that is just aligned with the request of the administration for DOTD to help with signage and the like. And so those partners are at the table, and I have no reason to believe that we will not be innovative in our approach relative to wildfires now and even well into the future. Every incident is always an opportunity to learn and to do better, and lessons learned. And that's what we do. And we pivot and we stay focused. We'll continue to do that. And that's why also encouraging residents to sign up for the real-time text alerts from NOLA Ready. Like, that is the best way to get accurate information and in real time. So that's something that we will and should continue to push out to our people. And they trust it. That's the main thing. They trust it.
WGNR.
Since the wildlife fire in New Orleans East was on private property, the New Orleans Fire Chief, Nelson, he had talked about that the private property owner had, I guess, maybe submitted some money for firefighting efforts, but then he said he's not really sure about, I guess, who the bill's gonna fall for since it is on private property. What kind of conversations are you all having about that? Because it seems like it's probably going to be kind of costly.
Sure. Well, any incidents like this, they're costly. With it being on private property, it does bear the question whether or not the federal government could pick up or provide resources towards it. It's something that is being researched and reviewed, but we're going to respond as we need to. And that's why I have to say, when we talk about, you know, that 20% of our fund balance being for emergencies and us being able to respond as a city, that's why it becomes so critical, because you never know. You know, it's not a matter of if, it is when. And of course, working through I guess the necessary systems relative to the federal government being activated. So yes, there is an issue that has been brought to my attention relative to private property and federal resources being made available. We'll work through it.
And then pivoting to consent decree, I know you have said that NOPD has demonstrated constitutional policing, and correct me if I'm wrong, you believe it's time for the NOPD to get from under that consent decree, but a couple of city leaders have said that new superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick is, I guess, embracing the recommendations, and she's had a conversation with the federal judge. Where do you stand with that when it comes to her views on the consent decree and then your views on the consent decree?
Well, our views are not different. Our views are the same. Our views are tell us what we need to do in terms of gaining compliance. Do not move the goalpost. Hold us to that. We'll hold you to also a timeline and a schedule, and we'll work collaboratively and cooperatively to demonstrate that the New Orleans Police Department is in compliance. And so I'm very hopeful. I have a superintendent that is experienced and who has demonstrated her ability to collaborate and also understands even where most often monitors and the like may not be abusive, but also understands that in some cases that does happen. So again, fresh eyes, you know, fresh eyes, that's a benefit to the city of New Orleans and to the New Orleans Police Department. And so our superintendent is laser focused on that, and that's a priority for me as well.
Axios.
I'm sorry, I think you missed Foxy.
I can,
Okay.
So Ms. Foxy, any questions?
I asked for Axios to ask their question if you have one.
Okay, I do. Hi, Mayor. So at the press conference with Governor-elect Major this morning, he said that his timeline is once he has a proposed solution for what he considers the problems in New Orleans, he's going to meet with you or the city council. How do you feel about that timeline?
Well, I mean, I think that his timeline is something that he has to put together based on the state of Louisiana. I think with the city of New Orleans being laser focused, again, is something that I welcome and something that I appreciate. And most importantly, what I love is the fact that the governor-elect is focused on solutions. That's what we're talking about here. So bringing people together, you know, to focus on the city of New Orleans, being solutions-driven, and wanting to meet with the administration and city leaders, again, I think it's the right approach and the step in the right direction.
Follow-up question. So with the Marsh Fire and putting that out, Chief Nelson yesterday said that the federal government will not be helping because it's on private land. Are there discussions at the state level or maybe the regional level to request extra help? He mentioned specifically that the fire department is trained for structural fires, but not for wildfires.
Sure, so this speaks to what I just kind of referenced. One, the unified approach, one being told that yes, while this is on private property, it does make it very difficult for the federal government to engage. But I also said this is where we will look to see what this really means. So it's all hands on deck, all partners. It's not the first time that we work with even federal partners, but we'll work at every level. This is what we do. It's nothing new. So at the local, state, and federal level, we'll put heads together and see how we can respond effectively. And we're doing that.
So is it more than requesting, I know Jordan's question was about the money and footing the bill, but getting additional firefighters here, additional resources?
It's all resources.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's all resources, whether it's in kind or money directly, it's all resources. And so we will continue to work, again, at every level to ensure that we have the response on the ground that's needed relative to this wildfire that we're experiencing now. But even looking into the future, again, lessons learned. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and ways that we can improve. And it's all through the spirit of partnerships and how we can respond. And we'll do that.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor, can I